like give everybody a heads up. So I will give you fair warning. There are risks mixed within the questions, and they kind of come randomly.
Okay.
I'll give you all the rules. I promise it won't be painful. Some of the questions are personal questions. They're not like super duper. You're not required to provide detail. A lot of them is like pick one or pick the other. Some that you have to answer.
Okay.
With the riddle, you can't just answer them. You have to get the right answer. Because someone caught me on that, my very first hot seater. He's like, well, I answered the question. I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't the right answer. He's like, you didn't say that I had to give the right answer. You said I just have to answer. He lost anyway. He still lost. But
Okay.
right, so now I have to make sure I'm very clear about the rules. So
All right.
So basically, this is the hot seat. You have 5 minutes to answer 30 questions. If you win and you answer all questions within the time frame, you can either ask me any question that you want to ask me and I have to answer it, or you can make me sing a Christmas carol. If you lose, you have to sing a Christmas carol. Not the entire song, you can sing like a verse. So just start thinking.
No Christmas carols though. Oh man.
Everybody knows at least Jingle Bells, seriously.
Oh, okay. All right.
Silent Night. Like just Rudolph the Red. Right? Come on. Everybody knows at least one Christmas song. Everybody know one. Just one.
I might fuck up the song before I fuck up the questions.
That's okay. So, welcome to another hot seat edition with the fabulous BJ of dun, 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 dun. You're supposed to say it.
Change the subject. The subject. I do a little small podcast called Change the Subject. And
nothing. Stop it.
All right. I'm ready.
You sure?
I'm ready.
So I'm gonna count you down, and then we're gonna start.
Okay.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is your number one relationship pet peeve?
Stinky breath.
Prince Charming or Notorious Villain?
Prince Charming.
If you could change one physical characteristic about yourself, what would it be?
Physical characteristic would be my eyelashes.
What's the first physical characteristic that draws your attention when looking at a partner? A woman.
Smile.
High sex, tipsy sex, or sober sex?
Tipsy sex.
If you had to choose between $100 cash or a 1-hour hall pass with someone you have a crush on, what would you choose?
$100.
What's a kink you've wanted to try but have been hesitant to?
Rope tie.
If you had to choose between doing a striptease in front of 20 women in a home for the elderly or running through an entire stadium butt naked, which would you choose?
Run through the stadium.
Your mother comes home with your best friend and tells you that they're dating. What's your next move?
I'm canceling both of them.
Riddle. You write with these, but it's not a pen. One has 5, the other has 10. What am I?
I don't know.
You write with these, but it's not a pen. One has 5, together there are 10. What am I?
Oh, fingers.
Close.
Hands.
Okay. Wash only your balls in the sink for 5 days straight, or wait 5 days to take a full shower.
Wash the balls in the sink.
They ask you to relax her before bed. What's your best technique?
Massage.
What 4 things are in your ideal man cave?
A pen, a microphone, a mixer, and a computer.
Okay. What is one thing that you think everyone should try at least once in their life?
Live.
Mount Olympus or Atlantis? Which fictional city would you want to visit?
The Mount Olympus.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
A firefighter.
Riddle. June's mom has 4 daughters, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. What is the name of the 4th child? You can pass and we can come back to it.
Thursday. I don't know.
Okay, again. June's mom has 4 daughters, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. What's the name of the 4th child?
Wednesday.
Okay, we're gonna come back. What song can you listen to you on repeat for the rest of your life?
Rocket Love by Stevie Wonder.
Okay. What's one thing you would never share?
A secret.
You're in jail on death row. What's your last meal request?
My last meal would be my mother's roast beef and mashed potatoes.
Okay. Right hand or left hand? Which do you use to masturbate?
Right hand.
Oh, sorry. You said that so aggressively, like.
That's the hand I write with, so hey.
What rule did you hate following as a kid, but you would make your own kids follow?
Stay in a child's place.
Okay. If you could be an animal for a day, which animal would you be?
Dog.
Head preference, sloppy wet 2-hand twist or 1-hand neat stroke?
1-hand neat stroke.
Riddle. What can you catch but never throw?
Feelings.
I never thought about that. That's actually a good answer. That's not the answer but that's a good one. But I wasn't expecting that. That's good. Okay, you get that one. That's not the answer, but you get that one. Absolutely. What's your favorite line in a movie?
Favorite line in the movie is, that is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
Okay. Are you more of, coming to America, are you more of a backshot bully or a missionary minister?
Backshot.
Okay. What's your greatest fear?
Dying.
If you could host a dinner party with any 4 people, living or dead, who would you invite?
It would be Felicia Rashad, Debbie Allen, Angela Bassett, and Sidney Poitier.
Okay. June's mom has 4 kids, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. June's mom. What's the name of the 4th child?
June.
Ah, thank you, God. Jeez. Last question. When I was 6, my neighbor was half my age. Now I'm 20. How old is my neighbor? Come on, BJ, I'm rooting for you. You have 4 seconds.
10. 10. You said when I was 6, my neighbor was half my age. Now I'm 20. How old are they, right?
Yes.
I said 10, right?
Yeah, that's not the right answer.
Repeat the question again.
Okay. I'm even gonna walk through the math with you. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
When I was 6, my neighbor was half my age, which makes her 3.
3.
Now I'm 20. 14 years later, how old is my neighbor?
Oh shit. All right. Never mind.
I'll let it. You did really good though. You got 29 out of 30. I almost feel like I should keep saying, but why I can't miss this one. Come on. Shit. What is I feel like I should feel blind because when I said to you, what can you catch but you can't throw, and you said feelings, that threw me off. I was like, the answer's cold. But that was like the greatest answer ever.
Oh man.
So I'll give it to you because that answer was an epic answer. I'm gonna give it to you. So you can ask a question or you can have me say.
What kind of question can I ask you?
Why you couldn't pick the singing? Really?
Because I still have the message of you singing "Happy Birthday" with your homegirl. So I heard you sing already. So
talk about that.
So that's still like, a very emotional message that I carry. So right. What can we add? What you're saying,
you're even traumatized by me singing once. You don't want to be traumatized again. Right, no. Sure, I got it.
That was very special. That was extremely special to me. Okay, so considering that this is the Poom Poom Chronicles, and you talk about a lot of different sexual education topics, if a person was to want to do something out of the ordinary in a sexual way, what is your best suggestion for the introduction to the idea? Because the reason I ask is because the reason I haven't tried so many things is because internally I have a lust issue. So it's not so much like I've done something wrong, it's that something's happened to me that makes me discipline myself in such a way. So how would you introduce such a thing to a person that knows you for this issue and you don't want to come off like a radical in a sense?
Honestly, I'm a believer in jumping in with both feet. Like I spent a lot of my life not exploring and not trying for fear of what the other person would say or their response or their reaction would be. So I believe, we've had this conversation about effective communication and comprehension. I believe in jumping in with both feet and saying to the person, these are the things that I like. So I have a biting fetish. I like to bite and I like to be bitten. And so what I do, instead of scaring the person into thinking that I'm going to take a piece of their flesh from them, what I do is I ask them to bite me first. And so I explain it in such a way like, okay, so let's do these steps first. And then when I need you to apply more pressure, I'll let you know. If I need you to ease up, I'll let you know. So I walk them through the steps because I find just sort of overall with intimacy, usually when a person is doing something specific to your body, they're mimicking what they like. So like nipple play, for example, you have men who will really focus on the nipples and they'll caress the nipples and squeeze and, do all an abundance of stimulation. And what I've often found is they are in a very quiet and gentle way telling me that's what they like. And so when I go to reciprocate that or I try that with them, I will ask them, am I applying enough pressure? Does this feel good? And that kind of thing. And so like in my mind, I make mental notes of that. When it comes to trying any sort of like kink or fetish, conversation, of course, you always have to have, because you don't want to scare somebody into thinking that, you're going to tie them up and leave them there, or you're going to Hannibal Lecter them or do anything kind of, strange. But don't be afraid of it. Whatever it is that you want to try, definitely don't be afraid of it. If it's something that you're unfamiliar with, do your background research. There is tons of information on the internet. There are kink groups, there are chat groups, there are, anonymous ways that you can get information. But if it's with someone that you trust, jump in with both feet and don't be scared. Just let them know what it is that you're interested in trying and don't be afraid of your lust.
Oh, all right. I can accept that. I'm just a really extremely detailed and disciplined person, and sometimes I still have those moments of like remembering certain things that like define the way that I am, and they still affect me to this day. I've told the story before. It's an older lady took advantage of me before, mentally, and the situation was really bad because I didn't know that I was filling in for a man that was missing in her life while they were on the outs, and so she taught me some very aggressive things in the relationship, and pretty much was like being condescending in a way, like telling me that this is what real men do. Real men take charge, they're aggressive, and she's teaching me these real animal type characteristics of ripping off clothes and all these different things. So I guess when the guy began to work on their relationship and he's back in good graces, she sort of like eased me out of the picture. And then it became, okay, well, you're childish, you're this. And the more that she kept putting me down, the more I didn't want to be in this position. So once she discarded me, I went back to my age group because she was almost 40 at the time. I went back to my age group with all of these things that this woman taught me.
Yeah.
And so as an adult male, a young lady comes back to me in my adult age, and I was in my relationship with my current girlfriend at the time. And she comes back to me and said that you made me grow up sexually before I was ready to. Now, even though she never said rape, that's what I heard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, that completely changed me as a man. And so I'm really big on discipline in a sexual relationship for men. I'm really big on women having the full idea of what it means to be like consensual. Like, even if you agreed to it on the phone, but once he got into your room and you decided no, that still means no. Like, I'm really big on that disciplinary action in the physical relationship. So this is why I asked the question, because it's weird when the person who's this firm on his beliefs comes out of nowhere and say, okay, I want to tie you up this time, or okay, I want to do this. So in my mind, I just wanted to know the proper way to adjust to like a certain growth, or, you know, what have you.
So let me ask you, in being disciplined with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
does that mean that you're limiting and restricting what you're
Yeah,
like, what
that's what it is.
is, but what instinctually feels good to you, or, you know, whether you were trained to do it or you were coached to do it. You know, people are trained and coached to do things that they know don't feel good to them, and they just won't do them. But then there's sometimes trained and coached to do things that awaken something in them that it actually appeals to. So are you restricting and restraining yourself out of respect, just sort of generally? Or are you restricting and restraining yourself because it's something that you actually enjoy and you're concerned about where it could go with a person who's not ready for that?
Yeah. For a long time, what it was the respect level, and it was partially the trigger too. Because for, I want to say, maybe 2.5 years of that time frame, I had a really bad anxiety issue, because this is at the height of the Me Too. So every day consciously, I live with the idea that soon as they put away Bill Cosby, somebody was eventually going to call BJ's name. So, you know, so in my mind, that was haunting me for so long. And like I said, I asked the young lady, do you feel as though I took something from you? And she said no. But still in all, with me, all I heard was rape. I punished myself with that forever. And so in a relationship of any kind, I don't think I'm entitled to anything, even in my relationship. You know, like, I still would like to respect my lady to a certain degree, that she's kind of even like, why are you doing this? But at the same time, it's still that mind frame of, I'm triggered by those things happening. And I just want to make sure that I'm extremely respectful of her body, her time, her intimacy, her consent. I don't expect for her to think that just because I pay bills around here that I'm entitled to anything. I still kind of have to deal with those feelings still, even to this day. But I mean, over time, I've gotten better by it.
But the fact that she asks you, or she has asked you, why are you this, like, still being this way? To me, it's an indication that she wants you to be more relaxed and more free with your truer self intimately. That's a very good indicator, you know?
Yeah.
Because the problem becomes, you know, especially with somebody that you're in a long-term relationship with, that you're connected with on so many different levels, is you're stagnating your intimacy because you're trying to protect her in a kind of way, but also protect yourself. And at some 2020 is around the corner, you have to trust her.
Right.
You have to trust her. You have to trust yourself as well, most importantly, right? You have to know you're like the least bad guy that I know. And not to say like, you know what I mean, like, you would never do anything bad, but you're like the least bad guy that me and probably about a dozen other women know. You're the least bad guy. You understand?
Right.
So you have to trust yourself and know that you are a good and decent man. You have to trust yourself to know that when you're being intimate with her, this is a part of yourself that you want to share with her and you trust her with. But you got to trust yourself first to know that you're not a bad guy and you're not going to do anything that hurts her or puts her in harm's way. This is something that you want to share an experience with her, and she will love you and appreciate you for it. If she's asking you already, like, why are you, you know, can we do some free stuff, like, what's going on? Don't stop, let's keep going. You need to explore that with her. Just talk yourself through it with her as you're going through it. Like, don't stop yourself. You know, it's like when I talk to women about like having orgasms, when you feel that moment like you're gonna pee, bitch, don't stop, Pete. If that's what it feels like, if you feel like you're falling like a roller coaster, dropping feeling, just go with it. When you stop it, you kill the mood and you kill the moment, right?
Right.
She loves you, and she wants you to explore with her. I'm sure those are the signals and the signs that she's giving you. You just need to keep the moment of it's okay to do this.
Okay. I have a new homework assignment for 2020.
Yeah, I'm excited. Man, you think it was something. It's so not even, but I'm happy to be all the same. No, I love love, and I love when people are in good situations where they can talk about stuff and where they can explore. Because the truth is, not everybody just likes regular sex. And it's not even about that. There's a really deeply intimate aspect about it that involves a level of trust. Yeah, you're trusting her with you. You are. As much as she's trusting you, you know, to not hurt her and to let her in, and you're trusting her with you as well. You have to remember that.
Yeah. Ooh, it's a process, but I'm definitely working through the emotional character of it, because again, it's just that weird feeling of, did I really portray the characteristics of that kind of predator? You know, because you got to think too, in so many areas of manhood, we were raised to be that way, you know, without necessarily the physical connotation of it, but we were raised mentally to be that, and then to finally get to the point to where you can express it. And part of the reason why I think I went too far, and this is probably where the trigger comes from, is because the first time the lady, the old duck, did the shit, like the first time she did it and she was like telling me to do certain things, I failed at the first attempt.
Right.
So in my mind, it was like, okay, I look like a child in front of this woman. I wanted to be, you know, 2 thumbs up to this lady. Yeah. I wanted to be that person that she was trying to mold me into. So I actually went home and was practicing and doing all of these extra things to make sure that the next time I had the opportunity, I was satisfactory. And so it sent me into overdrive with a lot of the things that I was thinking. I was already a nasty ass little boy anyway. So now I'm like 10 times worse. And this was kind of like higher power connecting with me too. It's like, okay, you know, even though you have this, you know, the sexual energy and drive, you still have to manage it like a man would. Like you can't just, you know, go overkill with the way that you feel in those moments, because you still need to be on point with your work, your performance at your job, your school, all of these different things that sex tends to affect when you get in too much of it. So it was just a small halt in all of that, you know, rage that I had in me. And now I have this quirk in the back of my mind every time I think I'm going too far or I'm doing a little too much. I always have that moment of, remember, you know, pace yourself, you know, take your time, make sure that you're clear on what you're asking for. All of these different things just happen to me in those moments. So, I mean, for the most part, it's not as bad as it used to be, because I literally didn't do anything for a long time. I wasn't even, you know, comfortable with that space in our relationship. But over time, I've grown comfortable. It's practically my friend, you know, above anything. So all of these things we talked about, you know, and I didn't realize how much I was even telling her, because we started off as legit friends. So most of my dirt, even she knew. So that's what also made it easier too. You know.
What about incorporating? So you said something that just sort of stuck in my mind, that you're always mindful, even. So I always feel like there's a small part of your brain that's always distracted with making sure that you're not going too far, which is also, it's a good thing and it's not a good thing, because you want to be like 100% present, right? And to give all attention to the moment, because it restricts you on one level or another. But maybe as part of the homework process, ask her, say like, I want us to have a fully explorative session. Incorporate a safe word and ask her to let you know when you're going too far. Instead of you controlling it, instead of you controlling the moment, instead of you controlling the interaction and what's happening, allow yourself to be free, trust her, and give her control of the intimacy and what's happening between the two of you. Give a safe word, choose a safe word, or allow her to choose a safe word, but allow her to be the one to hold the reins and let you know when it's too much. Because my question is, if you're deciding that it's too much, how do you know that it's too much for her if you don't ask her?
That is a great question. I never even thought of it that way. You know, it's always kind of like the way that we always say, like, women mature faster than men. So it's kind of like me trying to catch up mentally to where I believe she may be in this particular situation, because I know the things that I'm trying to protect her from, like, you know, her being sensitive, her easily being, you know, a person that could have her feelings hurt in certain ways, depending on things that you say and do. Like, I'm that guy. So I think that's more so what I'm trying to protect her from, more so than the actual experiences, you know, because I don't want her to look at me crazy, like, why did you do that? Or, you know.
But again, if she doesn't know, how do you know that even certain are too much for her? You know, like, there are words that I enjoy hearing in the moment, you know, and I just, like, I talk the most amount of trash because it's when I feel it, but I always tell the person, like, I talk a lot and my mouth has governance, my mouth is dirty. Like, I say dirtiest things if that's what comes to me and that's how I feel. So I'm like, don't be offended. They're like, you're good. And then I'll say, but I also like hearing certain words as well. Don't call me, you know, a dirty bitch and, you know, all them kind of stuff in the moment, granted, you know, because afterwards when we're sitting and eating and you say something, then we're going to fight, but that's different. In the moment, when you're having, like, you know, sensory overload and stuff like that, there are certain things that like, but then again, so it's the question of, like, how do you know what is too much for her if you haven't had the conversation about what is too much for her? And so, have those, it's a trust exercise, you know? And again, maybe it's about just choosing a safe word and saying to her, there are things that I want to try. There are things I'd like for us to explore. I don't know how you feel about it, but, you know, she seemed to me, I would think that she's open to it.
Yeah.
Man, you're missing a whole good opportunity sitting when you're restraining yourself. Sure. I'm just saying.
Oh,
2020 is going to be an exciting year.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm going into it learning a lot of interesting things. So, everything seems to be about growth. I mean, I appreciate, like, learning this, you know, because I really was nervous as hell trying to figure out what we were going to be talking about, because, you know, I don't know.
I know, right?
But yeah, I ended up learning something. So I'm appreciative of this. This is really fun.
So tell people where they can find you, all the good things about your podcast, and, you know, just, yeah.
Well, if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm pretty much on just Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter is DergoBJ. That's DergoBJ. And then you can also follow me on Instagram at The Subject Change. That pretty much harnesses all of my content from all of the different shows and features and people I support. It's pretty much a one-stop shop for BJ. So those are the two places. If you want to send an email, I have an email that is changed, CHANGED, subject@gmail.com. And that's pretty much where you can find me.
Thank you so much for participating in the hot seat and for having the conversation after. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
I try not to torture people too badly. It's a painful experience. Not that bad. It's not that bad.
It wasn't bad at all.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks. Have a good night.